Hello, this is Wmpyr. Okay, so I got a good question from one of my students over in Japan, and yeah, he was asking me about body shifting, and I think he was surprised because he went and cross-trained with another school, and I recommend to all my students to cross-train as much as they can. I think it's a good thing, broaden your horizons type of thing. So he went to a place that was lineage from Professor Danny Nos Santos, Jeet Kune Do, and also Filipino martial arts. And he learned some Hubud. And he said it was very similar to what I had taught him. Big difference is what he said was in body shifting. So they really emphasized to him to do body shifting and when he, like the way that I taught him, he said that I didn't really emphasize on the body shifting, so it's just more arms. So he was asking me, what I thought about that and whatnot. So yeah, the way that I teach martial arts, Filipino martial arts, and just martial arts in general is in the beginning. I try to simplify it as much as possible. I what I tell you guys is just memorize in the beginning. I believe in repetition. You have to do repetitions to get good. So when you're working on repetitions, when you're just doing the stuff over and over again, like this would be like shadow boxing or this would be like kata training. We also do in the Filipino martial arts where you're just swinging, a knife or a stick or even empty hand just over and over and over again. Maybe this kind of training a lot of people don't do anymore. I I don't know. I think back in the day when I was doing martial arts, I understood that you need to do it and that's how you get good. It's just putting in countless hours of repetition training. So that to me is where you're developing the craft. That's where you start figuring out better body mechanics and stuff. But in the beginning, you have to just memorize. And as the instructor, I have a lot of stuff that I need to impart to you. And if I am going to give you a ton of stuff, and if we spend, if I'm waiting for you to get your body mechanics down, this could take forever. And then you're just going to learn this much. So I will actually make it the material simple. So downgrade the quality, but even though I'm downgrading the quality, I feel like it's not going to hinder you in a sense, because if you put in the work, the repetitions, it'll go back up in quality. So first, just memorize. So I feel like at that point, I'm giving you like a happy meal, not the best quality food, but from there it can turn into like a gourmet hamburger, if that makes sense. So in the beginning, keep it simple. Like when I teach the Heaven Six, in the beginning I tell you guys, this is not for real life application. The way that I'm teaching it to you right now is not. The way that I'm teaching it to you is so you memorize it. You can take it home and practice, so you won't forget. So to me, if you can't even do that, then forget all that, because you're not gonna practice at home. You're not gonna get better. So simplified. Like if I teach the Hubud in the beginning, it's just pure memorization. And once again, most of the students that I have encountered have trouble solo training at home. They don't do it. They don't, for whatever reason. I understand you have a family, you got life, whatever. But to me, really, there is no shortcut. To get good at martial arts, you have to put in the time. So then the next step about body shifting, and once again, the term body shifting I heard from Professor Bram Frank, and really it's just this turning on the toes of your feet and just being able to do this. So when you're doing a simple Hubud, boom, 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 you put in that body shift, pop, 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 and then you're able to put in more of your body mechanic in there. Super important. Yes, you do it in Hubud too, Um, we do it angles of attack. The two places where you really, to me, where the body shifting was emphasized was heaven six or heaven and earth, whichever one. So double arm waving. And then number two is from what I call the double arm swinging, which is more basic than the double arm waving heaven six stuff, right? And I've showed people that all the time, is the double arm swing. So both of those really, really emphasize the body shifting, the turning of the body. And I think it's a lesson. It's basically in the Filipino martial arts, Kali, Escrima, Arnis, that they're teaching you. Pretty much you do that with all the techniques. Okay. Now, there are times in a real life situation where you're not going to use body shifting, where it's not going to come out. And that's okay. So when you put in body shifting, okay, it gives you superior body mechanics and it could give you more power, okay? At the same time, when you don't do it, you may not need the power. It might be more like speed, more reflex. Okay, so a good example I could give you guys is UFC fighter Izzy Adesanya. There are some shots that guy pulls off that you can't. It's not like a power shot. In fact, there's some like where he's just barely moving out of the way and he clocks the guy. And he's off balance, so that you can't put in a lot of power, you know? So boom, like that. I'm not saying that punch is weak. I'm just saying compared to his other punches where he has, you know, he's able to put his body more, it's weaker than that, okay? So him doing these like weird, awkward, you know, position and landing that, and those give him like the TKOs and the KOs, all right? So there he's playing a different game, all right? Now, so what I'm saying is there is a time where maybe it's just all arms, and there's another time where you do put in the body mechanics. Now, I'm not saying that one's better than the other. No, absolutely go with body mechanics, body shifting. Go with the body shifting, okay, absolutely. But I'm just saying in real life, there may be times where you're going to focus more on the hands and you're not going to be body shifting, okay? And that's okay, I'm saying. But in that case, you're sacrificing, you know, more power and focusing more on speed, or you might be sacrificing footwork, you know, and angles that the body shifting can give you, and you're focusing more on just speed. And that's all right. Just know that it's a different tactic. Now, one more thing I got to emphasize is, and make clear, is that a person who knows body shifting and has it down, and that person decides to not body shift and only do arms, that's not the same as someone who doesn't do body shifting and just does arms. Does that make sense? It's not the same, because even though they're just doing arms, the body shift person, even though it's still in there. A little bit's in there. It's okay. So they could choose to minimize it and shut it down. So they could, instead of making it like this exaggerated, they maybe just this. But it's not the same as just someone that doesn't know that. Okay. So that's super important. Therefore, make sure you do the body shifting. Make sure you learn that. Okay. So I hope that helps. Thank you guys for viewing, and take care, folks.